The incredible success of American-style pro wrestling in Japan can be traced directly to the influence of one man, the man considered the father of Japanese puro pro wrestling, Rikidozan. A former sumo star, Rikidozan had been trained by Americans for the first ever wrestling tour of Japan in the early 1950s, and he became so popular, he founded his own promotion, the JWA, the Japanese Wrestling Association, in 1954. The sport caught on like wildfire. Rikidozan became a national hero with his matches against American opponents getting incredible attention, culminating with his most famous match against Freddie Blassie on Japanese network television, being watched by nearly 90% of the homes in the country with television at the time. By gaining revenge for Japan's World War II defeat against Americans like the Sharp Brothers, the Destroyer, and NWA World Champion Luthez, Rikidozan became more renowned and popular in his culture than any pro wrestler ever, with the exception of El Santo in Mexico, eclipsing even the notoriety of Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and The Rock. But he knew it wouldn't last forever, and so he handpicked the two men he felt should be his successors, a Brazilian track and field star of Japanese descent named Kanji Inoki, renamed Antonio to make him more exotic, and a former Tokyo Giants pro baseball player named Shohei Baba. They both debuted September 30th, 1960. Baba was sent to the United States to become a star here, which would give him credibility in Japan. And for 2 years, he main evented every major city and territory in the United States, becoming the biggest Japanese star ever in this country. He challenged Buddy Rogers for the NWA title, sold out the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles against the Destroyer, and gave Bruno Sammartino his first ever loss in Madison Square Garden in 1961 before over 20,000 fans. But a tragedy called Baba home. Rikidozan was murdered December 8, 1963 by a mobster in a Japanese nightclub. In the aftermath, a heavy gangland influence on the sport in Japan was revealed. Baba was made the new top star, and his reputation for honesty and integrity cleaned up and saved the sport in Japan. By 1967, a match pitting Baba against NWA champion Gene Kiniski drew over 25,000 fans in Osaka. Baba also formed the top tag team in Japan with Inoki, whose star-making tour of the US in the mid-1960s had not worked, seeing him at one point working tank towns on the southern end of Nick Gulas' Tennessee territory. Inoki left the JWA to form his own company, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Several months later, Baba, with help from Dory Funk Sr. to be able to book top American talent, did the same, naming his company All Japan Pro Wrestling. These moves would allow both Inoki and Baba's popularity to surpass that of even their mentor, Rikidozan. It would allow these two men to dominate Japanese wrestling for the next 30 years. It would make a number of American wrestlers household names in the rising sun, and it would make Giant Baba the richest promoter in the history of pro wrestling worldwide, with the exception of Vince McMahon. This is the story of the promoter and the promotion that presented professional wrestling as serious sport for longer and more successfully than anyone else anywhere on earth. This is the story of Giant Baba's All Japan Pro Wrestling. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Back to the Territories for Kayfabe Commentaries. I'm Jim Cornette, and once again, we're hopping in the DeLorean. We're taking a trip back in time, and we're going to discuss one of the classic wrestling territories. In this case, not just a territory, but a country. Japan, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and our guest to do that, guy who probably knows Japanese wrestling better than anybody else, the legendary bad man from Borger, Texas, Stan Hansen. Stan, thank you for being part of Back to the Territories. You see, we spare no expense here with the set. The author, by the way, of this fine tome that you should get at all cost, which details Stan's life and career in professional wrestling. And you have probably, I guess, I don't know if there are records if you've kept track. I know you know how many times you've been, but did you have more tours of the country of Japan than any other gaijin in the history of the business?
Evidently, somebody keeps a record of that, and it seems that I have the record for a gaijin going over, for sure, by quite a bit. But ask me what it is, what the number is now. Last I heard, it was around 160, 170 or something like that. But I'm not, I don't keep up with stuff like that. But
well, that's why you wrote your book, though, because some of these things need to go down. And I did peek, and it was as an active wrestler, you were on your 131st tour when you decided to retire, and then you kept going back for several years as the commissioner, figurehead president of the PWF, etc. We'll get into that, but take us back to your first trip. It was 1975. You got booked in Japan. You'd only been like a 2-year pro at that time. How did it come about? How did you get booked? How did you get the opportunity to first make that trip as almost a rookie?